Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Miss Tarot, and again, we have another weekly bite-size tarot reading. I don't know why I always have such a hard time saying that, but what we are going to look at for the next 7 to 10 days is pretty much getting a sense of what incoming energies are on the horizon, as well as identify some maybe challenges, opportunities, or just treat it as a small little chunk of what I need to know for the next week. Okay, so let's take a look. We are going to use the Enchanted Map Oracle deck as well as the Antique Anatomy deck. So let's see what we got here, all pre-shuffled in order to save time. I always want this bite-sized. Okay, so we have Magic Prayer, we have the Star, we have the Page of Swords, we have the Queen of Pentacles, we have the Page of Cups, and the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, well, that's amazing. You know, the Magic Prayer and the Star coming out together is pretty significant. I think that there is a strong emphasis here on your prayers, wishes being answered, or it's time to actually just like make a wish and see what you get back. The Star is about our hopes and our dreams and our aspirations, and the Magic Prayer with number 32 reducing to 5 has a lot to do with change, but change in a good way, in terms of your life's about to change based on a prayer being answered. So when you see this card, it's kind of a reminder that your prayers are going to be answered. And with the Star card kind of before it, I think it's funny that a lot of that, since it has to do with hopes, dreams, aspirations, is pretty much them encouraging you to either focus on your dreams and aspirations or just get started on dreaming big, essentially, is kind of what I'm thinking. But let's get into the tarot a bit. So kind of what I think about when it comes to the pages here is obviously kind of the novice, the person who is pretty innocent in terms of their experience. I think that there's a lot of renewed energy and hope when it comes to these cards. The pages and the Star kind of, line up for me in terms of kind of the beginnings of something new, and also not being quite sure on the path, right? So with the Page of Cups right there in the middle, this is usually asking you to kind of take a moment and listen and really understand a different point of view. Don't ignore your gut feelings if something seems off, but there is a very sensitive, intuitive presence here in terms of this reading, and being able to, what I think is being very sensitive and intuitive when it comes to whatever wish or fulfillment that you're asking for. Sometimes, and I believe it actually talks about this in the Oracle deck for the Magic Prayer, is, we all have our own, we have our own will, right? Self-will. But, if it goes unchecked, sometimes it can kind of bring difficulties. So just making sure that the path that you're on is going to lead you to, a place of something that you won't regret, a path of prosperity, not overthinking it, and actually really listening to your own internal guidance and your own intuition when it comes to this. When it comes to the Queen of Pentacles here, I kind of think along the terms of, obviously the 10 of Coins too, this is a lot of fulfillment and gratitude. And with it being kind of at the end of everything, there's an emphasis on being able to have everything you need, and, maybe a bit extra for security, because things seem to be going very well for you in your personal life. Okay. But also there's a little bit of emphasis that the foundation of this happiness needs to be rooted in in like your safe space. So like your home or in a group of friends to where you can feel like you can be yourself. And you know, you couldn't have reached your level of success more than likely without some of these supporters along the way. So I believe that that's kind of just being mindful of it. Um, and I feel like I'm going backwards here. We're just kind of all over the map. Sometimes I go, you know, straight back and forth in order of the cards, and sometimes I don't. But for the Page of Blades, you know, this is kind of a quick-minded individual, very curious, with learning and problem solving and asking, like I said, a lot of questions. But this is kind of, when it comes to the layout here with the Star and Magic Prayer, I think that you are being encouraged, especially with this card kind of being in the middle of this, is to kind of balance your emotional and logical side when it comes to this wish fulfillment, and how realistic it is for you to, is it grounded in reality? just is, that's how I'm going to say it. Is your wish and what is coming into fruition going to be grounded in reality, or is it something that's kind of just made up of air and steam? You know what I mean? Is it actually grounded in reality? And that's also kind of why we're talking about, you know, the coins, or actually the pentacles. I love calling them coins in this one because that's what they are. But the Queen, I think we kind of touched on her just a little bit. I think with this particular spot where she's sitting has a lot to do with her passion and being able to pull this off without breaking a sweat. So I think whatever path that you are going to be embarking on in terms of this wish, this manifestation, is going to really grant you the ability to make things in your life be a lot more beautiful and serene. And we have this harmonization between the logical and the emotional that creates that perfect harmony too. Having a very good, comforting space is going to be very good for you when it comes to productivity, and definitely going overboard in one way or the other is really going to bring some unnecessary stress. So that's what I think is the overall message here. Okay. So to kind of recap, we have this beautiful message of being able to have your wish or your magic prayer answered, but there's going to have to be a little bit of balance in terms of emotional fulfillment and logical reasoning that is going to have to be grounded in a little bit of reality in order for you to make this come to fruition. But the good news is that once you kind of have this laid out before you, the path is going to seem really, really easy, very easily traveled in terms of this. So that is wonderful news for you. And if you enjoyed this reading or have any questions or comments about the week ahead, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Also considering liking, following, subscribing. This is on YouTube and Rumble, so whichever you're watching me on, go ahead and leave me a comment, or considering subscribing, following. Okay, I will be back with another reading in a few days or so. Not sure what the topic's going to be, so stay tuned for that one. And I hope you have a wonderful week, guys. Take care. Bye.